What up, though? Can you hear me? I wonder if you can hear me. I hope you can hear me. Let me get to a comfortable spot. Welcome to the very first episode of Sauce is Chillin. I am your host, Sauce, of course. Thank you for popping in. I don't know if anybody's in there, but it doesn't really matter because the show is the show and the show must go on. As I settle in, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. Because we are clearly not prepared with the background. But we're going to rock it like that. There we go. Once again, my name is Sauce, of course. You might know me, you might not. I am a content creator on TikTok. Do a lot of hip hop talk, a lot of classic hip hop, a lot of music stuff, a little bit of sports, some life stuff, pop culture, all that good stuff. And now I'm having the opportunity to bring it to YouTube Live, thanks to Sports Fluent, who has given me this opportunity. So we're going to run with it. We're going to run with it. So y'all tune in. This is the first run. First run. And of course, I got to get all these buttons figured out. The behind the scenes of good old YouTube. Not really a YouTube guy, but we will be one going forward. All right. So let's start it out with a simple question. Who the heck is this guy? And why should we care? Well, you don't have to care, but it'd be nice if you did. Once again, my name is Source. I am a husband, 20, how old am I? 24 years next week, actually. 24 years of marriage on Monday, the Monday coming up June 10th, to my lovely wife. I'm a father. I have two daughters. I was once a rapper. You know, everybody's a rapper these days. And even back in the day, 90s, 2000s, a lot of people tried their hand at rap. Some made it further than others. I did my thing a little bit, nothing too crazy, but got to see a couple different cities doing shows over the years, up and down the East Coast. One time into Ohio and to Kentucky once, but mostly it was East Coast, actually the Mid-Atlantic, Maryland, D.C., Virginia, and North Carolina area. My group was called Grown Folks. It was me as the MC and my homie Docs1 was my partner in the group. He was also the producer. He actually, I don't know if you all know of, let's see, artists like Wordsworth, The Rangers, Ill Bill, Pumpkinhead, some underground type vibes. Those are a couple of groups that he produced in the past. And yeah, we came together, did some things, had an album out there called Child's Play, Grown Folks Child's Play. So if you plan on looking it up, Google Grown Folks Child's Play. Why? Because if you Google Grown Folks, it will bring up a whole slew of things that have the word grown folks in it. It's Grown Folks Child's Play because Child's Play is the name of the album. It will bring up the album, appearances by, let's see, Darian Brockington, who you might know from Little Brother fame, Feel the Agony from Strong Arm Steady. Who else was on the album? Buff One. Shout out to Buff One from Athletic Mike League. A couple other names on there, but yeah, we had a good time making the project. Oh, Skyzoo. Can't forget Skyzoo. How would I forget Skyzoo? Skyzoo was on there as well. And yeah, it was a dope project. Came out back in late 2005, early 2006. And yeah, that's a long time ago, man. But That's what we did. I did a few things before that, but nevertheless, that's what I did as far as the music field is concerned. So let's see: husband, father, rapper, former rapper, DJ. The DJ thing is an effort. AK, what up? The DJ thing is an effort in progress. I am working on it. Thankfully, because of my semi popularity on TikTok, not semi because it's not that many followers. It's enough though. But semi popularity on TikTok, I've developed a relationship with a particular DJ that I won't mention today. Hopefully, I'll bring him on at a later time and we'll chop it up a little bit. But he has been teaching me how to DJ using a controller. I think we've done like 5 sessions, 4 sessions. Not bad, not good, but not bad, for a couple hours of work. So hopefully, a few more sessions, get a little better, and we can rock it like that in the near future. I still do my thing on the different apps though. Don't get it twisted. I still get busy. Also, I mentioned content creation and I mentioned TikTok. So I am a content creator on TikTok under the name Source of Course. Like I said, I talk a lot of hip hop, music stuff, sports stuff, a little bit of life stuff. Feel free to follow the page at Source of Course for your hip hop value or some value from hip hop. Something like that. Something like that. I am also a podcaster. Well, as you can see, we're doing this thing here. I also have done a show called Source and Company on my own YouTube. Actually, it was interviews, and I just posted them on my own YouTube. Interviewed people from the hip hop world, like I mentioned Wordsworth earlier, Hakeem Green from Channel Live, Sean Day Period, former Raucous producer, a few comedians, a couple of actors, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, kind of mixing it up and having a good time with it. So hopefully, Mad Skills, can't forget my Mad Skills. Hopefully, I can bring some of that to this platform and make it a thing. Make it a thing. Salute, Oakland. I didn't know that was you. I thought you were Fluent, and Fluent is right there. But anyway, and writer. Oh, man. Can't forget the writer. Oh, no. You know what? I mentioned one podcast, didn't mention the other one. The other podcast I do is actually on Facebook every Sunday morning with my partner, Prime. We do a show called Sports Bar Podcast, the SBP, where we talk about sports and what's going on in the world. And yeah, I am also a writer. Sometimes I forget because it's kind of new. It's been a year, but it's still new to me. So we have the book, which is Shorts from Source. That's my book. It's 31 thoughts, poems, and stories from me. And yeah, it's about 70 pages. And well, since we're here, it's $10 at this point. I sell it for $10. People just hit up the Cash App and shoot your address through there. The Cash App is $MICSOURCE. Hit that up, send your address. I will sign the book and ship it out to you ASAP. ASAP. All right. So, first episode. You never know how things are gonna go, but I do. We're gonna start out with a little something. You would think that the basis, which is the basis of this platform for me, is going to be hip hop. So my thought was to start out with a little hip hop content just to get that off my chest because that's slight work. Doesn't take much to do that. So we'll start with a short conversation about a year, which was actually 29 years ago. Did I do the math right? Then carry the one. 29 years ago, 1995. And I was prompted to talk to the, the the followers. I don't like the word followers, but talk to the followers on TikTok about 1995 hip hop. And I gave my favorite 5 hip hop albums from 1995. 95 was a crazy year. Crazy year. Dope projects from all over the country. Now, in 1995, hip hop was national and getting ready to touch into international. Me personally, I have never been a huge international hip hop fan. I won't lie to you. I know a few artists from overseas, but not a lot. My concentration has usually been within the United States and a little bit of Canada as well. Right, sports fluent, of course. But in 1995, the East Coast was still on top of the game because the game started in the East. The West Coast had come up quite a bit by this time from Oakland and the Bay all the way to LA, Compton, of course. And even the South had jumped in a little bit. The South had jumped in a little bit. I say a little bit because I'm not really counting like Miami bass. Rest in peace to Brother Marquise. I'm not really counting Miami bass, but I am counting kind of lyrical hip hop, beats and rhymes. And of course, we had Ghetto Boy Scarface, but Atlanta was starting to stick their toe into the game a little bit. And one of my favorite 5 albums is actually from an Atlanta group, but not the one you probably think of first. So, real quick, my favorite 5 albums. Actually, let me run through a couple of the randos that are not in my favorite 5. Number 6 could probably be in the top 5 on any given day. But at this point right now, I've got it right outside of my top 5. That's Liquid Swords by the GZA. For the Wu-Tang Clan, this was one of the group's first run of solo albums. And some people believe it is the best solo album that came from any Wu-Tang member as far as that first run of solo projects. Although the GZA had a project prior to, but it wasn't Wu-Tang related. It was before the Wu was the thing, so we're not counting that. But as far as the first run of Wu-Tang solo projects, Liquid Swords is a great one. Of course, Tupac, rest in peace, Tupac. Me Against the World dropped in 1995. My favorite Tupac album. I'm not the hugest Tupac fan, but that is my favorite Tupac album. E40 and the Major Dose. Um, the Alcoholics. Can't forget the Alcoholics. Man, was it coast to coast? Coast to coast. Alcoholics got the beats that'll make them say, darn. Yeah, I stopped cursing a few years ago. I'll tell the story another day. But as far as today, y'all know what it is. Let's see. Smith and Wesson. That's one of my favorite albums that I like to grab a couple joints from. But it was a banger. Definitely was up there for me in 1995. That's The Shining. DJ Quick, Safe and Sound. Bone Thugs. Sheesh. The list goes on and on for 1995 because it was a great year in hip hop history. But I'm going to give you my favorite 5 hip hop albums from 1995. If I had a couple of them, I'd slap them up here right now, like bam, and show them to you. But you got Google, you got the ability to look up the covers and check out the albums. Actually, let me see. Are you gonna be able to see? Yeah, you can see my phone. Okay. In that case, we might just bring it up on the phone. All right. So at number 5, I mentioned the Wu-Tang a little bit earlier. This is my favorite album by this particular artist. A lot of people don't understand him, and I get it. I get it. And I'm not saying I understand him the greatest, the best of all. But this album, like, I didn't know what to expect from it. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, yo, this joint is kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. It is ODB, Old Dirty Bastard, Return to the 36 Chambers. This album is crazy. Definitely was not what I expected. Like I said, I didn't know what to expect from Dirty, but what I got was heat. What I got was heat. My favorite joint off of there, which you will come to learn, I'm not a big singles guy. Singles are cool, don't get me wrong. Singles are cool, but I'm not a big singles guy as far as my favorite song on an album. But Brooklyn Zoo was different. And I hate to use different because you know everybody uses different these days. Like I'm different, they different, this was different. Yeah, obviously it's different. Obviously it's different. But for me, Brooklyn Zoo was that joint. And just to give you a second song that I loved off this album, Rawhide featuring Method Man. Crack, crack. Don't use drugs. However, the song was crack. Number four. Number four is actually a lot of people, well, number four for me. And these are my favorites. Once again, these are my favorites as far as hip hop albums that dropped in 1995. A lot of people will put this one as their number one. They love this album. They really do. And I'm not mad at them. For some reason, it took me like I had always had this album at a 4.5. If we're doing a 5 mic scale, I've always had this album as a 4.5. But for whatever reason, I could not put it into that 5 category until I realized myself an album can be a 5 mic album without it being perfect. I know that sounds contradictory to itself, but if you know, you know. And this is one of those albums for me. Mm, it is the infamous by Mobb Deep. Yes, I know a lot of people will argue this album is the best album of 1995. And again, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at that idea. Obviously, it's number four for me. So how mad can I be about it being at number one for a lot of people? Truth be told, truth be told, I when I first heard Shook One's Part Two, I was not on it like everybody else was. I was not on it. It was cool, but I was not on it like everybody else was because everybody lost their minds when they heard Shook One's Part Two. And the video was fire. Don't get me wrong, the video was fire, but it didn't resonate with me as much until the next joint dropped. As far as singles or songs that were put out, I don't know if it was actually a single, but the next song that was in the world a lot was Survival of the Fittest. And once I heard that intro, it was a wrap. That, like, everybody loved Shook One's Part 2. I love Survival of the Fittest. That was my joint. Also, if I give you a second song, there's a lot of different ways you can go. Right Back at You is crazy. Eye for an Eye is crazy. I think I'll choose Temperatures Rising though, because that song had meaning. It was a conversation, and I love a good conversation in a song. Um, I won't say it was reminiscent of, but I can see how it might make you think of One Love by Nas. But Temperatures Rising was my joint off of the infamous album. Number three. What you got at number three, Sauce? Number three. Straight out of Philly. Boom. Bam. Chicken, no ham. The Roots. Do you want more? I had not heard of the Roots when they dropped their first album, Organics. Never heard of it. Well, I mean, heard it later in life, but didn't hear of Organics until later. Uh, so my introduction to the Roots was the Distortion to Static video. That joint would pop up on BT, on Rap City. And I was like, because it's kind of a dark video. You don't know, if you don't know the group, you don't know who you're looking at, what you're looking at. Kind of a dark video. And then you got the drums that started out. I was like, I was intrigued when I first heard them, which pushed me to cop the album. Been in love ever since. Do you want more? Shoot. I can't even give you one or two songs off of there. Mellow My Man. MCs who slept for days must be swept away. Like I said, Distortion and Static. The list goes on and on. Silent Treatment. Yeah, everything. Everything. Do you want more? And that is my second favorite Roots album to this day. To this day. To this day. At number two. At number two. Remember I mentioned an album from the South was in my top 5 for that year? Well, this is where we are. My favorite album by this particular group. No, it's not Outkast. Outkast did not drop an album in 1995. They dropped in 94 and they dropped in 96. If I'm not mistaken, 94 and 96. But in between time, there was this. The Good Die Mostly Over Bull-ish. Goody Mob. Soul Food. So many stories just thinking about that album. Also, did you know that this is an opinion? So I say, did you know that as if I'm giving you a fact? It's actually an opinion. In that 95, 96 time frame, the dopest rapper from the South was not Andre 3000. It was not Scarface. It was indeed CeeLo Green. Some people don't understand because they never heard of CeeLo. They might be younger. They didn't hear of CeeLo until Forget You. And they think I'm crazy. All that. They think that's CeeLo. And it is, but it ain't. It is, but it ain't. Carlito Green, CeeLo Green, was a member of Goody Mob, and he was the illest. You cannot find a whack, a halfway, semi-okay verse from CeeLo from that time frame anywhere. I challenge you to look. You won't find one. Great album. Lead single was my favorite song, oddly enough, again, Cell Therapy. Rest in peace, Rico Wade. Rest in peace, Rico Wade. Man, Rico Wade was 1/3 of Organized Noise. That Dungeon Family sound was from Organized Noise, and Rico Wade was the pretty much the mouthpiece of Organized Noise. He just passed away recently, earlier this year, actually, not more than 2 months ago. But Rico said that he heard the way DJ Premier did J. Rue the Damages Come Clean. Boop, 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 boop. And said, you know what? I need to make something like that. Boom, boop, boop, boop. And Cell Therapy was born. So rest in peace, Rico Wade. That was my joint. That's a great album from start to finish. I've listened to that album so many times in life. Is crazy. But yeah, Goody Mob, Soul Food. And at number one, some people call it the purple tape. Only built for Cuban links. Raekwon the chef. Are you kidding me? Do I need to explain? Do I need to go into detail? I feel like I don't. I feel like I don't. Just put that joint on and let it rock, and you will understand why it is my favorite hip hop album from 1995. Lead sing. I don't even know what the lead single was. Was it Heaven or Hell? I don't know what the lead single was from that album, but I remember a video for Criminology, which is one of my favorite joints. My favorite song off the album, though, is pretty easily Verbal Intercourse featuring Nas. So it's Raekwon, Ghostface, because Ghostface appeared on most of the album. It's treated as it's treated as a solo. It's considered a solo, but it definitely is heavily Ghostface Killer influenced. So it was Ray, Ghost, and Nas on Verbal Intercourse. Great song, fire to this day. Put it on right now, and you will be transported back to 1995, where everything was live. And that's what it is. That's what it is. So that's my list, my favorite 5 albums from 1995. Feel free to drop your favorite 5 albums from 95 in the comments. Or if you see this video, you can always take a snippet, clip it, don't trip it, and make your own video. Make your own content talking about 1995 and what it meant to you. All right? Boom. We in there. I got 2 more topics that I want to get to today. And I figure because one, I love sports. I talk sports anyway. And two, we got a lot of things happening right now in the sports world. I got to get these two off my chest. One is very clean cut. I'm going to get to that first. The second one, it's a battle that we never saw coming. If you tell me that you saw this coming, then I want to know the lottery numbers because you must have them. What's the lottery numbers for the night, for tomorrow, for Saturday, any night? Give me some lottery numbers. That's all I'm saying. You got to have them if you saw that coming. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. First up, the NBA Finals tips off on Thursday. We are finally here. It took us a minute because we had some quick series. We had a sweep and a 5-game series in the finals. The Eastern Conference Finals was a sweep. Boston got Indiana up out of here. A lot of people like to point out that Indiana played them tough. It's the NBA Conference Finals. Obviously, it's going to be tough. It doesn't matter who's on the court, who's hurt, none of that. It's going to be tough competition. But Boston ended up with the sweep, got Indiana up out of here, and they are the favorite squad in this finals. They will be facing off with the Dallas Mavericks. Who saw that coming? Who saw the Dallas Mavericks being in the NBA Finals when this thing started? Because they started out with they won 50 games, and they started out with another 50-game winning team. You don't see that very often, but we had Dallas and the Clippers face off in the first round. Dallas handled their business, and they've been handling business ever since. Salute to Luka Doncic. Luka is that dude. I know over the years, people have been like, well, Luka can only get him so far. Well, he don't use his teammates. Well, Luka doesn't do this, doesn't do that. Luka has dragged his team to whatever level they've gotten to up to this point. Thankfully, he's had a little help this year by one Mr. Kyrie Irving, who is back on his Grizzly. It's a tough job to stay in front of Kyrie. And he's so engaged. Kyrie is so engaged at this point that he's playing defense. Not that he didn't play defense before, but he's actually engaged on defense. Excuse me. Luka's engaged as well. What up, Baba G Cuts? Yeah, Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous was a great album as well. It was definitely in the collection, and one of those that that was very New York. It was New York gritty. New York gritty. Salute, gotta salute Jason Kidd and his coaching efforts as someone who has won a championship previously as a player. Kidd knows what it takes. I'm not a big knows what it takes kind of guy, but there is some validity to winning a championship and being in that situation again. This is different because he's on the coaching end, he's not on the floor, but Luka and Kyrie are an extension of their coach as far as being on the court. And I believe he trusts both of them to be able to get the job done. All respect due to the other pieces as well, because they've been mix and match. But the key is that you got to make a decision what you're going to do with Luka and what you're going to do with Kyrie. And once you make that decision, either of them will choose to get the bucket or make it an easy bucket for one of their teammates, whichever one is open at the time. It's usually a lob or a kick out to the 3-point line. But Luka and Kyrie do the bulk of the work, the heavy lifting, as some would say, and they make it difficult if you don't have defenders that can at least give them a hard time. You got to at least give them a hard time. You're not going to stop them necessarily, but you got to at least make it difficult. Matter of fact, I saw where Drew Holiday was asked about how do you stop Kyrie. Drew Holiday said, pray. Now, there's two ways you can take the Drew Holiday comment. Whether one, pray, because that's how I really feel. I know it's tough to guard Kyrie, and whoever's got to guard him has to do the best they can. On the other hand, you might say two, you see how Kyrie reacted to Anthony Edwards mentioning him. For some reason, people think that Anthony Edwards slighted him. I'm like, there was no slight there. He just mentioned that Kyrie is going to be his matchup and he's looking forward to it. Kyrie said, and I took that personally. Who is he, Michael Jordan? You ain't Michael Jordan, Kyrie. All right, he was Michael Jordan in the moment. But you know what I'm saying. He took it personally, and he did work for at least the first 3 games of the series. He did work for the first 3 games of the series. And some would say that was the difference. Kyrie was focused, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe in all that, getting more focused. I don't believe in all that. I don't believe in all of that. I don't believe in momentum. I don't believe in a lot of things that the average fan believes in. That's just me. But the best thing for Boston is that even though Luka and Kyrie are difficult to stop, Boston has Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who are also difficult to stop. The difference is if you happen to stop Jaylen and or Jason, you still got Porzingis, who's just coming back from injury. It'll be his first game back since the first round? Now, we ain't seen Porzingis in a minute. You still got Drew Holiday, who's a former champ and can get a bucket. And you still got Derek White. Just for the record, between me and y'all, Derek White did not become who he is until we met. I met Derek White. Okay, I didn't really meet him. We were in the same place. And I convinced him to take a picture with my youngest daughter. He won't try to do it. All the Spurs ran away. It was a whole thing. I'll tell the story another day. But after he took that picture, his game elevated. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying we're responsible. I'm just saying We might be anyway. Y'all see what it is. Y'all see what it is. So obviously the question is, who do you have in the series? I'll ask you who you have in the series. Who do you have winning this thing? My answer is simple. Hold on. My answer might not be that simple. Need a little. So it's family. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, Oakland. Let these people know it's the family energy. Also, my daughter met Chris. What's my man? Dang, I'm blanking on my man's name from the Dodgers. His game went up after he met the family. That's all I'm saying. These people seem to develop a little more ability after they meet the family. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But the question is, who do you have in the finals? Winning the finals, I should say. For me, obviously, the easy answer is it could go either way. It could go either way. If Luca and Kyrie, blah blah blah, and if Jason Tatum doesn't show up, or if Jalen Brown, a lot of things could happen, and it's easy to say it could go either way. I'm standing on business. I got the Boston Celtics in 6. People keep trying to tell me that Boston is not this, not that. They don't look good. They don't look great. Them people ain't had to do much work. And that does not take away from their run because you play who's in front of you. Boston has not had to exert crazy amount of energy in long series. I think they will be ready, poised, and focused. And they're still young. Now, a season or two ago, Jason Tatum, I think it was Tatum, alluded to the idea that the Celtics have plenty of time. I never liked that. I never liked the idea of somebody thinking they've got time when they don't. You hear that a lot of times, or you see that from people who make it to the finals in whatever field they're in, whether it's the Super Bowl, you know, NBA finals, the championship game in college, the national title game, whatever the case may be. And people often think that they're just going to get back there because they made it there. They think it's like in their mind, they're like, there's no way I'm not getting back to the same spot. But a lot of people don't get back, so you have to take advantage of your opportunities. So I did not like when they said that as far as relating to Boston. But the truth is, Tatum is 25, right? Them people is young. Them people is young. They still young, and they still got a ways to go as far as developing that championship mentality and finishing the job. I do believe they finished the job this season, and I think they should be a little bit grateful that the Denver Nuggets were nowhere near the finals. Because I still would have picked Denver over Boston, but we're seeing Dallas, so I'm going with the Boston Celtics in 6. That's what I'm going with. That's what I got. That's what I'm rocking with. So that's where we are. All right. Any questions? No? Perfect. Last topic of the first show. Source is chilling. Man. Now this topic I can actually talk about for the rest of the night because it's a hot topic. It's a polarizing topic, but it shouldn't be. It should be a hot topic. It shouldn't be a hot topic, to be honest. It shouldn't be a polarizing topic if we're using some bit of logic or just being honest. But people tend to take sides when it comes to some topics, and they just can't let it go. Which led me to I mentioned being on TikTok at Source, of course, which led me to yesterday post something like people will like I don't even remember what I said, but people will disagree with someone who is right, but they don't like the person before they will agree with the person who is no. I'm messing it all up. I don't even remember what I said. The point is, people are gonna rock with whoever they like, whether they're right or wrong. They're gonna go with that opinion a lot of times, and not even consider what is true or what is real. I, on the other hand, am a person that whatever it is from my lens, I'm going to tell you what it is. If I think that a person is a jerk, but they are the greatest at whatever, I'm going to tell you they're the greatest. If I love a person, but they stink, I'm going to tell you they stink. I love them, but they stink. It's just what it is. I would do that with most things. I try to keep it a buck. Excuse me. Fact, not everyone is LeBron going to 10-5. Hey, look, G Cuz, people, which gives me a little something. Since I got a little time, I'll touch on this. People, including Sports Fluent, even though I get it, I get it, I get it. People act like LeBron has just pulled up in the finals with James Worthy, Larry Bird, Dr. J, and Shaq. Like he just pulled up with the greatest lineup all the time, every time, and that's how he got there. I'm like, bruh, this man has dragged teams to the finals. You have to respect it. You don't have to like him. You don't have you. I hate to see LeBron flop. I hate when he's falling on the floor, acting like he got hit in the eye, acting like he got hit in the nose, doing a backflip, tuck, balling up in the fetal position. I'm like, dog, come on now, bro. Like, relax. Relax. Chill out. You ain't got all this is not necessary. This is not the middle school play. This is not the middle school play. We're not here for bad acting. We're not. But none of that is really why the people feel the way they feel a lot of times. The people feel the way they feel a lot of times because they are so enamored with Michael Jordan. And I get it. I understand. But discrediting one to big up the other is not even necessary. You can say Michael Jordan is the greatest because of this, and this. The fact that people tend to discredit LeBron as much as they possibly can, only to separate him from Michael Jordan, is crazy because they're saying that Jordan is so beyond the pale that the second best, or even if you want to say third or fourth, even if you want to say third or fourth, the second, third, or fourth best player ever in basketball is so much worse than Michael Jordan, and just like not that good. He's not that good. He's the fourth, third, or second best of all time, but he's all these negative things, and they want to point those things out just to separate him from Jordan when you don't even have to do that. It's so unnecessary, and it's annoying. But who am I to stop people from talking? I'm talking. They gonna talk, right? So we all gonna be talking together. We all gonna be talking together. Do you keep up with current hip hop? If so, what's your thoughts on the Kendrick Drake beef? Who had the better disses? Interesting question, G. Cuts. Easy answer though. It was not even. I won't say not even remotely close, but it was not. It was not. It was not close. It was not close. Every piece of the battle favored Kendrick, from the approach to the timing to the songs. Even Drake fans are so crazy with their appreciation of Drake that they thought that if Drake fed a lie and that lie was acted on, that made Drake somehow the winner. All it did was point, even if Drake has no daughter, there is no daughter. It doesn't matter. Because if you fed him that and you say, you're lying about that, why are you not saying I'm lying about all these other things that are way worse than you having a daughter that nobody knows about? Because it's not the world's, I won't say job, it's not their place to know if you have a second child. That was pointless. You made up something pointless to try to deflect from some things that are like brutal, like real in real life. That don't make no sense. That and he definitely did not read the Art of War. he he did not read the Art of War, nor did he read the art of anything other than the art of making money off of rap. And I'm okay. I get it. I get it. I'm not here to dismiss Drake. I'm not here to take away from Drake's catalog, his what he does. He's great at what he does. I'm not here to take away from that. But there was no competition. People tried to make it something, and it was fun. The back and forth was fun. But in reality, it was Kendrick easily, in my opinion. Oh, hey, you already know, Oakland, using that Tupac AI. While it was what's the word I want to use? It was a nice effort. In the words of Fife Dog, you get an E for effort and T for nice try. It was a good thought. The idea was a good thought. Tupac, because he used AI, which is new, and he used Kendrick's idol. I get that. The fact that it was Tupac, who is deceased, the fact that you're trying to use Tupac's likeness in a way that is negative, and you use Snoop, who's still alive. What are you, sir? What are you doing? This is stupid. This is stupid. I wish I could think of the Robert Kelly comments from when he was being interviewed by Gayle King. This is stupid, guys. Like YouTube, whatever he was saying. Yeah, it was that. It was that. But anyway, my last topic of the evening. I ain't gonna tell y'all. All right. I know some of y'all like we don't know this guy, so y'all probably don't even know what I'm talking about for real. But we've had a conversation. Run it back. I love the WNBA. I love the WNBA. I do. I didn't start loving the WNBA yesterday, day before, last week, last month, or last year. I love the WNBA. Basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court. Basketball is not my favorite sport. It's my second favorite sport. I played basketball, but it's my second favorite sport. But I do like the way they dribble up and down the court. That is a true statement. First, with all due respect, let me say the Connecticut Sun are still undefeated on this season. They are balling. Asia Wilson, Las Vegas Aces, she's still mad because she didn't get the MVP. And she is taking it out on everybody. I think she averaged like 27 and 14, something crazy like that. Just want to get that out there because, people like to start with negativity. And I wanted to say something that is on the positive side of the game. And there's so much going on with the game in itself. Caitlin Clark, let's talk about it. Caitlin Clark is a hooper. She gets busy. Or she has gotten busy, which is what has us in this place right now. And I know I know some of y'all gonna act a little funny in a second. You're gonna act a little funny. I'm just telling you. If you don't know me and you're like, hey, this guy ain't bad. He all right. I like this guy. There's a good chance you're not gonna like me in a second. There's a chance. It's a possibility. It could happen. And you know what? I messed myself up talking about all these other topics, and I'm gonna run out of time. But I'm gonna run it like this. Caitlin Clark, good basketball player. She gets busy. If you follow my page on TikTok, you will know that I compare Caitlin Clark to the one, Marshall Mathers, Eminem. If you want to know why, go to the page, check it out. The video is pinned at the top of the page. But in this moment, there's a conversation about Caitlin Clark, jealousy, and for some reason, there's like a bubble. There's a word bubble that is being built around Caitlin Clark as if she is a newborn baby. And I don't understand it. No, I do understand it. Let me get to the part that's going to make some people mad. The reason Caitlin Clark is being put on a pedestal, one is because of her skill level. Great skill. But guess what? There have been players with great skill in the WNBA that came out of college great, that broke records in college and came into the WNBA. All that has happened before, multiple times. Kelsey Plum, 7 years ago, broke the scoring record in college, came into the WNBA. The fanfare wasn't there for Kelsey Plum, even though she is a white woman. What is the difference? And I'll make this brief. What is the difference between Kelsey Plum, Breanna Stewart, who is my favorite player? Let me say that before y'all get to the point of you don't like. Breanna Stewart is my favorite player. But we are in a time in history, 2024, where there happens to be a player who is white, American, straight, and from Middle America, who has thrust themselves into the conversation of being really good to great. And that thrust has been assisted by the fact that the country is so polarized right now, publicly, when it comes to, let's call them 45. I made this point to someone. They said, "You're an idiot. You're a jerk. What are you doing? Y'all make up stuff." Dog. Middle America, just America, has always been looking for the great white hope. It's always and I get it. Larry Bird, great white hope. Larry Bird was a great player. Nothing against Caitlin Clark. But for whatever reason, Caitlin Clark for some reason, has been treated as if she is running for president. It's like the Swifties. It's like Taylor Swift of basketball. It's outrageous. And I don't understand it. I do understand it, but I don't understand it because the people that spoke negatively, that were attacked immediately, Diana Taurasi. Well, she's not going to just walk into the league and ball out. Diana Taurasi, white. Why y'all what? Breanna Stewart. Even yesterday, Breanna Stewart said something. Hate. As if they are hating on Caitlin Clark because she is white. How would Breanna Stewart and Diana Taurasi hate on Caitlin Clark because she's white? That doesn't make any sense, does it? No. Now, the recent play. Oh man, my time is about to run out. Last thing I'll say. The recent play between Kennedy Carter. Yes, it's Kennedy Carter. So if you're saying Kennedy, then that's just you don't even watch the game. Just let it be. That's for Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco. They called her Chinity for a whole show. Nevertheless, the part that's not being discussed about the Kennedy Carter uh, foul on Caitlin Clark, forget the elbow that Clark threw into Carter's face or the trash talk afterwards. Forget that. Why are they acting like why are they acting like Tanya Harding sent goons with a bat and hit Caitlin Clark in the knee, yo? Yes, she blindside bumped her. Yeah, Caitlin Clark fell down. That was it. If you want to say flagrant, that's fine. They acting like she got shot. They are acting like she pulled out a gun and said, I'm jealous. I hate you. Blah, blah. It wasn't that crazy. It wasn't that crazy. It wasn't. What's crazier? Being grabbed by the throat while you're jumping in the air and thrown to the ground, or someone running up on you and bumping you with their shoulder and you fall to the ground? What's crazier? Then why are we having this conversation as if the whole world is against Caitlin Clark? It is because of the other thing I said, because it's a real thing. And if you want to talk about it further, pull up to my TikTok page. Pull up, tag me. I'm here for the smoke at Source of Course. And that's all I got to say about that. That's not all I got to say about that. But my time's running short and I got to go. This was fun. This was fun. Good way to start. We got the kinks out a little bit. We'll be back next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, like we were today. Back at it. See what it do. Make it do what it do. I appreciate you all for chilling, checking in. And thank you to Sports Fluent for giving me the opportunity to do this. Hopefully we get better and better and we can make some waves in this YouTube world one of these days. All right. Until then, y'all gonna have to watch me try to figure out how do I get out of this live. Because I have no idea. I have no idea. Oh, wait, there's an end button. God bless America. Y'all have a good night. Salute. Check in with me, tab in with me at Source of Course. We out here.